watching The End Zone, sponsored by Lucky Star Casino.
Welcome to another edition of The End Zone. I am Colby Daniels, along with my co-host TJ Eckert, and we are making history today because we have somebody from Oklahoma State and we have the first defensive player in End Zone history. DEION IMADE joins us. DEION, what's happening?
I wasn't going to tell you guys, but I was like, man, the street's been talking. There's been a lot of, SEC in here. And I'm just saying, like, we were wondering if you guys were, going to venture over. But thank you for bringing me on as the first, Cowboy in the studio.
First Cowboy and defense. I would rather talk to offensive guys. I've talked smack on a bunch of defensive guys on these shows. But I'm glad you're here. And you're much bigger than me, so I won't talk any smack today.
I told him to contain the arms before he came in, but he did not.
Hey man, I told you it's a package deal. If you get me, you get the muscles, body by glass. All right, you know what it is. You know. Shout out to Coach G.
Even what? 12 years later? Is that how long it's been?
Bad habits die fast. Good habits stay long.
Okay.
That's how we do it over here in Oklahoma State.
Allegedly 12 years since you were there. So
no, allegedly.
We're going to talk a lot about Oklahoma State. It's a bye week for the Sooners, so we'll get to the Sooners a little bit later. Their next matchup against Texas, obviously, is it's historic with it being the first SEC matchup. But for Oklahoma State, I know there's a lot of panic within the fan base, and I would just say this: there are reasons I think to be concerned about the football, but you can also say, I mean, the two losses are to the two teams that most people, including myself, predicted to go to the Big 12 championship. So losing to Utah and Kansas State isn't the worst thing on earth, but I think there are some glaring deficiencies, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've been addressing all week long. I mean, coming into the situation that we were facing, knowing that early in the season, the Big 12 didn't do us any favors by putting us up against the favorites early in the schedule. And so looking at the situation, you would like to go away 1-2 or 2-0, making yourself look good to, get to that Big 12 championship game once again. Going off, 0-2, it's rough, but it's not the end of the world, especially the way the Big 12 is looking with, Utah and Kansas State having big upsets early in the season. So everything's still wide open.
I think 2 of the last 3 years, a team with 2 losses has made the Big 12 championship game. So, it's not all over yet. But the offense is continuing to be a problem, in my opinion. I'm an offensive guy, so we can talk offense.
Yeah, we heard.
Well, but from your perspective as a defensive guy, what are defenses doing to Oklahoma State right now to cause them problems?
Well, I mean, they're just not running the football well. I mean, that's just it's a trickle-down effect. So, like, you don't run the football well, so then you're leaning on your passing game to kind of open things up, loosen up the box, and get the ball outside. And then all that pressure goes when you're trying to pass, this well, on the quarterback. And he's, put in situations in tight windows where he's having to be successful, and you just haven't found consistency in that aspect. So it's a rough situation, but essentially, if you run the ball well, the passing game opens up a little bit, things start to go well. The defense on my side, they stay off the field for 80 snaps, then things kind of go into success. So hopefully that's something that they can kind of heal up, figure out, and, get together and fix it.
Mike Gundy has said that they're running the ball well when the numbers are in their favor, but they've been stopped when the numbers are against them. If the numbers are against you in the run game, that should mean that you have better options in the pass game.
Right.
Alan Bowman against 3 Power 4 opponents is completing 52% of his passes. That's the Arkansas game and then the 2 conference games. And he's throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. That's problematic because not only are you not taking advantage of the numbers, but a 7th-year veteran is making those big mistakes, which you can't afford.
Yeah, and it's the inconsistency right there. I see what you did with the numbers. The box, if the numbers are there, Charles Thompson touched it out. I hear. I've been watching. But if the numbers aren't like in your favor, then you have to make a situation where they are. And like you're saying, the passing game has to be there. But the inconsistency with Bowman and his ability to kind of get the ball out there and be accurate with the football has been, a little bit of a disadvantage for the Cowboys as of late. So hopefully they can get that fixed. I don't, I'm not the guy to ask. I mean, I lean on Clint Shelf when we do our show to kind of let him handle all that good stuff. But hopefully that's something that can be fixed. If not this week, bye week.
Well, we can lean on you now for the defensive expertise.
That's
right.
What I'm here for.
You mentioned it, 80 plays sometimes, 75 plays, however many plays it's been. Normally, 65 of those have been good, right? And then there's been the 10 or 15 that's like, what are we doing? You know, big plays, too many big plays being allowed. But what are you seeing there?
See, bro, like we said, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And here's the situation. You're a defender and you're out there for 80 snaps, and then you have one lack of focus, one undisciplined play, and it goes disarray. So it's one of those situations where you have to be focused, especially in this league, the Big 12. You have to be focused for every time you're out there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that those plays turned into big explosive plays down the field, but you're in a situation right now defensively where you cannot let up too many points. Right. And we're in a kind of place in all of football where the defense is caught up to offenses.
Yep.
You see it across the board. College football, NFL football, these low-scoring games have started to, mount up a little bit more and more and more. And it's a situation where, defenders and the defensive minds in football have caught up to the offenses. And so you're having to lean on these defenses a little bit more to kind of get you out of situations. Now in the fourth quarter, that's when you kind of make your money offensively. You kind of can lean on that defense to be a little bit more tired and open up some things and kind of figure out what they're doing. But for us in that situation, you just have to be a lot more tougher. You have to, and that's something that we've relied on in situations like that. I mean, you talk about cowboy culture, you talk about body by glass. When it's the fourth quarter, when you have to be, tougher than the other opponent, when your conditioning has to be in, the best situation, you have to prevail. And Cowboys of the past have done that, and hopefully these guys can do it as well.
This defense has a lot of talent, but of the 134 teams in FBS football, only 2 have given up more explosive plays than Oklahoma State. That's mind-blowing because there are difference makers really in all 3 levels.
Yeah.
It's been a problem. It was a problem last year with Brian Noto's defense as well.
Right.
So something's got to get fixed, or we're just going to continue seeing these same problems happen over and over.
That's right. All right, we'll take a timeout along with TJ Eckert and DEION IMADE. I am Colby Daniels. Oklahoma has a bye week. What can they actually fix before the Red River rivalry? That's next on the End Zone. Welcome back along with TJ Eckert and DEION IMADE. I am Colby Daniels. Now we're going to switch it up on you. I know you're not an OU guy and you're certainly not an offensive guy, but that's where we're going to start. And then we'll come back to your strengths a little bit later, DEION. But
if we must.
We got to hit the Sooners briefly. It's a bye week. Obviously, it couldn't come at a better time with the number of injuries they've sustained early in this season, and with Texas right around the corner. That's a big-time matchup against the number 2 team in the country, the first SEC edition. But my question for you is just the general quarterback change. How does that impact a football team in a locker room?
Oh man, it's kind of big, and I hate to say this as a defensive guy, but I mean, in the situation defensively, you know that you're going to get an uptick. Here's the thing, with offense, and especially quarterbacks and defense as defense and offense as a whole, these coordinators need about like 3 game tapes to really know what you can do, figure out what you can do, and kind of game plan around it. If you go into a situation where you have a guy and he has no tape on him, it's going to be hard. You're figuring things out on the fly.
Yeah.
So in the situation with Hawkins being in that Auburn game, you saw, I mean, this Auburn team, they had success early, but later he got comfortable. But it's not easy to figure out these quarterbacks when you have no game tape on them. So that's going to be the advantage of OU, and they have to use that to their, to their advantage, especially going into a situation, versus Texas in a rivalry game.
How difficult is defending a mobile quarterback like a Michael Hawkins?
Oh, I get a migraine even thinking about mobile quarterbacks. Every time, I can just go back to that, 2011 Colin Klein game where I had to spy him as the Kansas State quarterback. And mobile quarterbacks are the bane of my existence. First of all, you run man-to-man coverage. You think you're doing excellent job. You got your back to the quarterback. You're guarding your wide receiver. You're in his face. The crowd starts cheering, and you're thinking, "Yeah, we did a good job." And this quarterback is running up my backside. Mobile quarterbacks, they add so much of an element to the game, and you can't account for them. And it's just such an advantage for the offense. It's such an advantage.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the OU defense, that's been one of the Achilles heels of Sooner teams for over a decade. They finally have a group that looks like it's a national championship type of defense if the offense can turn around. But defensively, they have dudes in all three levels, especially the interior of the line of scrimmage. And I don't know if anybody has made more progress over the course of 1 year than Robert Spears-Jennings. He's been a monster this season.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought him up. He's the safety that I've been keeping an eye on. I mean, he seems to make a play every game. And there's players, and I'm sure you know this, there's players on the field where we're all good. You know, we all come from a situation where we were the guy. But there's some players that, and I don't want to call it luck, but it's luck that the ball always seems to find them.
Sure.
Plays always seem to happen around them. And you know, some coaches say when you run the football and you give effort, 110%, good things will happen around you. No, coach. There's some dudes that just like Taylor from for the place for the Rams now.
Jason Taylor.
He was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Just
Ball
even
just
on
found him.
special teams, the ball
That's
just finds him left. Spears-Jennings is definitely one of those guys. Good things just happen around number 3.
Former Broken Arrow Tiger too.
Yeah,
Got to give those guys a shout out on that one.
There you go. For sure.
All right, we're going to take another timeout. We're gonna change up moving the chains a little bit on the other side of the break. So stay tuned for that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, it's time for this week's edition of Moving the Chains. I said we're going to change it up a little bit. We've had all offensive guys so far in Moving the Chains, so their goal has been to move the chains to get a first down.
Okay.
Since you're a defensive guy, I thought we would switch it up a little bit. You're going to try to prevent the chains from being moved. So last week we had the first touchdown. This week maybe we'll have the first defensive stop.
Yeah, stop.
Right? Don't let those chains get moved. So I prefer our judging is going to be a little bit different.
Turnovers.
I prefer turnovers.
Okay, fair enough.
Pick six or something.
We're throwing the ball away. That's
Are you going for the bend but don't break type of defense, or are you just going to be aggressive?
I'm all out blitz. All out blitz.
All right. All out blitz. Well, that takes us to our first question, Dion. Fix the OSU defense's big play problem.
All out blitz.
Yeah, right.
No, people have been talking about this in Stillwater a lot. I mean, we have the athletes, especially on the second level, to kind of put some pressure on the quarterback. Last week versus Kansas State, you saw Avery Johnson with his legs. It's kind of a dangerous situation. But I think more pressure on the quarterback will, lead to more success. I mean, we've seen it in the past. Let's see it in the future.
Okay, so pressure on the quarterback, that's good. The quarterback was able to get rid of it and throw it away, though. So, see, 2nd and 10. So it's an incomplete pass, though. That's good. That's good.
That's good for you.
You put pressure on the quarterback,
Okay.
but he's a smart quarterback.
Second long.
So 2nd and 10.
I wanted a sack, but okay, I'll
Fair
see
enough.
what you do.
Well, we'll talk about
Okay.
quarterbacks now. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Is
If you're
there
going to sack, step it up.
Yeah, is there a quarterback controversy right now in Stillwater? People want to see Zane Flores out there. Is there a QB controversy right now?
No, there's no controversy.
Okay.
I mean, you have a veteran quarterback, a 7-year, veteran quarterback. He's been there for a while. He's got continuity right now with the wide receivers, with the group. I mean, although you haven't seen much success right now as far as offensively, and they've done some things, but you've seen progression. You've seen improvement. Let's be honest. The Utah game wasn't his best outing, but there was progression in that Kansas State game.
Yeah,
you got to
like
admit.
said that.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, stay with your guy, have faith in him, and give him that confidence. Come on now.
Okay.
They gave Rangel an opportunity against Utah last week. Too many big mistakes for a guy that's in his 7th year.
Yeah.
I think the offense just picked up 8 yards to give themselves third and manageable.
I didn't
third
like your
and
answer.
2.
Come on,
Wow.
man.
Man.
Manageable.
Come on now. Come on, Dion.
3rd and 2. All right, come on, defense.
Yeah,
We
I
got
mean, you
Lock in.
just harshly said no.
defense got this. All right,
Okay.
we're
All right,
third
lock
down.
it in.
Third down. We
Third
got
and
this.
short.
Okay.
What do you got?
All right, let's move on. What areas can a team improve most during a bye week? Obviously, Oklahoma has some issues offensively, but what areas do you look at in a bye week that are realistically improvable?
Yeah.
Get healthy. That's the place where that's how you improve in a bye week. All right, you as coaches, I know you want to rep stuff, you want to improve, you want to sharpen some things up, but get your players off the field. Let them rest up. Get your star players. The reps are good. Rest is better. So get healthy, get rested, and watch what happens the next week.
Okay, that was spoken like a player right there. Get ready, get healthy, take some time off. That was good. I'll take that. So we're here. We're 4th down. We got the 4th down.
Okay, all right.
4th and 1. We got 1 yard, so it's 4th and 1.
Okay.
Now I need you to really dig deep here.
Okay.
I need your favorite Mike Gundy memory. Whether it's I would prefer from when you were a player, but if you got something.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Wait.
Okay, all right, all right. A favorite memory of Mike Gundy.
Yeah, I need one.
Okay, there was a time where, I think it was 2012, where Sports Illustrated, came out with the article, and they were saying we were paying players and all that good stuff. And so
The Dirty Game, I believe that was titled.
yeah,
Yes.
the dirty game. So here's what happened. We went to the meeting room. Coach Gundy is in there, and he's talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we had this article and everything, guys." And then he pulls out of his pocket. He's like, "Derek, I wanted," like, there was a player, and today was his birthday that day. And man, I want to tell you happy birthday. And he pulls out of his pocket, and Monopoly money comes out, and he's like, "Oh, my bad, Derek. That wasn't a birthday present or anything." And so we're just all in there laughing, having a good old time, because obviously, and it was proven, none of that stuff was true, and none of that stuff happened. So we were making light of it, trying to relax the team on a Friday before our game. So it was a great moment, a great story, and we all had fun.
So Mike Gundy showing his sense of humor like he has done a lot of recently.
And he pays attention to the headlines. He knows.
Absolutely.
That is
absolutely.
good.
All right, I'm going to give you a sack.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the stop.
I got off the field?
Yeah, I think we got a sack in the backfield. You got the
Congratulations.
stop, and you're going to send the offense onto the field, and you get a much-deserved break.
Well
done.
I thought I could do it. I knew I could do it, and I did it. So good for
The
me.
defense can win every now and again, I suppose. every once in a while.
Defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget that.
Well, you've set a high bar for your next appearance, so just remember that.
Hey, I'm here to win.
All right, we got to take a timeout. Game picks are next
get
here
out
on
of
the
here.
End Zone. For the final time this week, along with TJ Eckert and DEION IMADE, I am Colby Daniels. Quick look at last week's game picks, because TJ won the week for the first time
He sure did.
this season, redeeming himself from the 0-5 performance
We don't
2
even
weeks
have
ago.
to talk about the 2 weeks ago.
That was embarrassing.
This graphic says last week, and last week I won. I want to make that very clear. 2 weeks ago doesn't matter, right? Isn't
That's
that
right.
It's 1 week mentality.
That's right.
Happy
Definitely cut into the overall standings lead
Oh, absolutely.
that I had.
This thing
That was pretty dominating a week ago, but he cut into the margins. So
We're getting tight.
let's head into game weeks for this weekend. We have some pretty big matchups, especially in the SEC, almost across the board, big matchups. Missouri is an underdog headed to College Station.
Yeah, Mizzou has not been impressive. They were considered one of the top teams in the country coming into the year. Haven't played well. Had to take 2 OTs to beat Vandy. I'll take them as road dogs. Why not? Give me Mizzou.
You know what? I like the fact that Mizzou's coming off a bye week. I know
That helps.
That NIL money was supposed to, really vamp the Tigers team. So hopefully he'll get it done this week. I got the Tigers.
Not Monopoly money.
My pick is based more on me not liking the A&M team, so
Fair.
give me Mizzou and the points. All right, game number 2, as we stay in the state, Tulsa hosting Army. Tulsa's an 11-point underdog.
Yeah, I don't like this at all for TU. Tough game coming in. You just got blown out by North Texas on the road. Army's one of the best teams in the country right now. Give me the Black Knights.
Yeah, and Pop, I'm sorry, Jeremy Pop, when our buddy over there at TU sideline reported, but I'm gonna go with Army too. They just look too good running the football, man.
Army minus 11 for me as well. All right, game number 3, we have Ole Miss coming off a loss, one of the shocking upsets last week at South Carolina. The Gamecocks getting 9 points.
You know, South Carolina at home, coming off a bye, Shane Beamer. Ole Miss maybe licking their wounds a little bit. Why not give me the Gamecocks? I don't know if they're going to win it outright. I don't think they can keep it within a touchdown.
Is this gonna be our first not so fast, my friend?
That's right.
Hey, there you go.
Man, I think in a different situation, with Big 12, with the 12-team playoff, I think Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss still stay energized and they bounce back from that loss and get this win over here.
Motivated after the loss, I'll take Ole Miss as well. All right, Georgia, following one of the craziest fourth quarters I've ever seen, will host that Auburn team that Oklahoma just beat. Georgia's a 24-point favorite.
It's a lot of points. I think Auburn is in a letdown mode right now, so give me the Dogs.
Yeah, give me the Dogs as well. I mean, that Georgia team's still good.
3 for 3 on the Dogs. And finally, Oklahoma State trying to bounce back from 2 losses, hosting this West Virginia team.
Got to think they're going to find a way to pull one out here against the Mountaineers. At home, give me OSU.
Yeah, at home, OSU bounced back strong. It's gonna be a close one, but strong.
Close game, got to stop the quarterback, but OSU -3. DEION, we appreciate it. We will certainly do it again along with TJ
Please.
Eckert. I'm Colby Daniels. Have a great college football weekend, everyone.